week on our segment, we're going to be talking about the step up. We'll be covering the mechanics of your step up and what muscles are used during. Next week, we're going to be talking about progressive overload. Progressive overload means how to make your exercise harder. We'll show you how to make your step up harder and how to make it the best step up variation for you.
So why do we want to do a step up or a step down? Well, first of all, it's a really effective triple joint movement. Triple joint refers to the fact that we're moving the ankle, the knee, and the hip. And that's a really good analog to walking or gait mechanics. So it's a great way for you to train for walking. As funny as that sounds, it's actually a really important skill that we have to keep working on, especially as we hurtle towards old age and being put in a home by those who claim to love us. So this is really good for balance because it's unilateral, and unilateral exercises force us to work on that balance by having a destabilized center of mass. So one leg is working, one leg is planted. That also helps with stabilizing the spine at the hips, making them work better together to keep you doing stuff. This really does help you with developing power for sprinting, for running, for jogging, for walking slowly, for standing, all kinds of things. And finally, yes, this is a great exercise for walking and being outside, socially distanced, of course, in the blaring sun to test just how quickly you will burn.
Let's talk about the muscles we're using in our step up. We're mainly going to focus on the lower body with this one. So we're looking at primarily our glutes, the glute max. That's that nice big juicy one right here, the bootylicious one. So we're also using the glute med, which is going to be a little bit to the side. And that muscle's working to help keep the hips nice and stable, to work the pelvis. And then if we go into the pelvis, we're also looking at pelvic floor and deep core for this. So pelvic floor muscles not only help with your peeing situation, but they also help work those tiny little muscles that move the legs and hips. And then we're using our core, so deep core, little bit of rectus abs to keep the top of the pelvis stable. That's really important when we're going into any single leg exercise like a step up. We're also using our quads, our quadriceps here. We're going to use our hamstrings, right? Those are working some movement at the knee from the front and back. Then we look at our muscles around the ankles. So right on top of the shins, looking at the calves. And then of course, we can't forget the almighty foot. 1/4 of all the bones in your body are in your foot. So needless to say, the foot muscles are going to be pretty important. And that's why we're talking about it a lot this week.
The first component of our step down is going to be a foot position or active foot. A lot of people don't think of their foot when they're doing step downs, but it actually sets the stage for our entire knee and hip position. Dee is going to contract her foot by grabbing the books with her toes. When she does this, it contracts the arch of her foot. This allows her knee to track better over the foot. If she didn't contract her foot, her knee can collapse. You can see that as soon as she drops her foot, her knee tends to fall inwards. Now, Dee, contract your foot again for me, and let's watch that again. You'll see that her knee stays over top of the foot as she goes into her step down. This gives her more control and better ability to protect her knee. Having an active foot will help everything up the line. Without an active foot, our knee and hip may be out of alignment with our foot. You can see that as Dee drops the arch of her foot, her knee caves in. And although it makes for great dance moves, it does not make for great step ups or step downs. So we're going to get Dee to grab the books with her toes to create a stronger arch in the foot. You'll notice that as she contracts her foot, it'll actually set her knee. Show us that step up, Dee, with that active foot. So she's going to contract that foot, and she's going to do a few step downs and step ups for us. You'll notice that her knee tracks with her toes. It actually stays along the line of her second toe. This is what we want. This protects our knee and protects our hip. Good job, Dee. Secondly, we're going to talk a little bit about hip and knee stability through our step up and step down. We want to make sure that our hips and knees are level with each other. We want to keep those hips square facing forward. What we don't want to have happen is what we call hip drop. So Dee, can you show us what hip drop looks like? Yes, we don't want that. So what happens here is that we're actually dropping into the joint and not controlling that position. We want to use our glute med because 1, it's an awesome muscle, and 2, it actually stabilizes our hips. So Dee, I'm going to get you to contract that glute med for me and level out your hips. Now Dee's going to use hinging mechanics to sit back into her hip and step down. This keeps her hip, knee, and foot all in line with each other. If Dee was allowing hip drop, you'd see all sorts of weird stuff happen at the knee, hip, and ankle to try to adapt. So Dee, can you turn to the side for me so that I can show everyone what it looks like from the other side? So if Dee's doing a hip drop here, you can see what happens to her back and hip. She rolls open, she doesn't look in control, and you can see her ankle shaking a whole lot more. She's arching her back too. Probably not a good time to arch. That looks great, Dee, but not in this scenario. All right, so do that proper step down for me. And you can see that her hips stay level, her hips stay square forward, and that everything tracks. This protects her back, knee, and ankle. Good job, Dee. All right, so Dee is going to show us our third component to our mechanics breakdown. She's going to demo what control looks like through a step down here. You'll often see people go into a step down and they kind of just flop and they catch themselves. Would you jump out of a plane without a parachute? I know I wouldn't, Dee. Would you? No, didn't think so. So we want to make sure that we're prepared and in control during our step down, that we really have control through every moment of that movement. So Dee is going to go nice and slow for us and really demo what it's like to have good hinging mechanics and good control through that movement. She's actually going in stages here so that she's actually checking in to see if she's in control during each one of those stages as she comes down. This gives her opportunity to make small adjustments in the hip, knee, and ankle as needed, instead of just hoping for the best and jumping out of that plane. You can see she actually jumped out of the plane, guys. She also had time to actually adjust her hips in that moment, if you guys had noticed that, where she actually rolled her hip back forward to adjust that position to allow for a better step down. Woo, good job, Dee.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. As ever, we love making these videos for you guys. So if you could subscribe and click that little bell icon so that you know when we're releasing new stuff, maybe leave a comment, and also share this video with a friend. We need more subscribers. If you like what we're doing, you can work with us on Patreon. We have all kinds of tiers that will give you access to early content, these videos, bloopers, all the way up to programming, which we're super happy to do for you. Be sure to add us on social media at 3wave_fitness on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And finally, we hope you're doing well. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. We love you. We'll see you next week.